So we got through yesterday, rough day, after watching that Iowa game and knowing that it was, there were moments it was ours for the taking. We couldn't finish it. Like I said, we made some mistakes. We had some tough breaks, a couple scramble situations, left their best shooters open. That were, we have a thing called quick man, that we have to just think quicker to be able to, when you're in a sudden change, you've got to get a man, especially if he's one of their better players. And that happened twice, and it was a big 2 6-point plays in that were really big for us. So we don't get the win. We got to be positive. Same thing happened to North Carolina, to Duke, to Syracuse, to Ohio State, to Purdue. The same thing happened when you go into a game and you have a chance. You believe you can go in there and you win a game, and you don't. And we have to. And that's exactly the message to the team yesterday. That 17 games left in the league, and we got to grow from it. We got to have that mindset. That being said, we got Penn State coming in here. Penn State has beaten the tar out of St. John's. So you've seen that St. John's has beaten Butler and beat the heck out of Syracuse. Beat Georgia Tech, which just beat North Carolina. So they have a great mixture of two talented kids from the same high school, Roman Catholic High School in Philly, that really have infused them with some young talent. And then they got some holdovers that have gained a lot of experience through wins and losses over the last 2 and 3 years. So it's going to be a very difficult game for us. And frankly, we couldn't do very much yesterday except work out our guys that didn't play much. And today we'll try to get after it the best we can. But still, it's like, I was saying to our guys, well, we can work on our transition defense. Wait a minute, we just played 45 minutes of transition defense. It was the best we played against Iowa in transition. We just did that. The meters on our computer chips that we use were at an all-time high for games. So we got to rest them and try and get them and get our guys rested today, but still have them sharp. So interesting balance, but that's what we have to do in Big Ten during the season.
Coach, I know we talked about DJ a lot this season, but performance like he had at Iowa, is that the ceiling, or can he go even further?
Oh, he can go. I mean, at 28, I don't know, he posted 28 with 13 or 14 rebounds. That would be a good ceiling for anybody. You do that consistently. But yeah, the fact, and he's look at his assist turnover ratio. I don't think out of that particular position that we've had the rebounders, the assist, the turnovers, and now the 3-point shooting. One big goal is to get him to post up more. We have tried it several times. We haven't had a lot of success with it yet, but I say yet because he's only a sophomore. We got to get that out. Now he's got a lot of other things he's got to work on, and making sure he grows from even this. He wanted to take those last shots, and that's a positive at the same time. Maybe somebody else was open on one of the last plays too. So he's still learning, and you know what it is? He's really coachable. He really understands that's what really makes him get better.
Mark? John, is it individual issues or is it collective issues with all the breakdowns at the end?
Yeah, it's really hard to put our finger on. It would be that there's some guys that I've coached over these years that it takes a long time, or there's just this little tape delay that keeps them from going from good to great. And whether it's an offensive tape delay, a defensive tape delay, whether we got to rep it more to get less tape delay, but there's just been that like paralyzes guys for a second. I wish I could say, hey, it's going to change rapidly. We just can't say you can't do it. We just got to keep doing. We just got to keep getting better at it. But there's just this. Sometimes there's just this little bit of a delay in what's my next move, and take ownership that gets in the way. But sometimes it's going to be the whole team. But there's a few guys that just always seem to be just in that situation, and we just got to keep getting them to understand the urgency of reacting. Make a mistake. Do something. Do something. Even if it's the wrong thing, do something.
John?
You talked about getting past Iowa. What's your read on how this group is in terms of short memory?
I think that they'll be pretty good. I mean, I think that coming out of our other losses during the year, I think that we bounced back pretty good. It's not a concern. I think there's an old quote, and it sounds crazy. Sometimes you recruit kids that you can lose with, and what they're really saying there is you lose with them, and you get better. You know what I mean? You get better from it. There's some teams when you lose with them, it's the end of the year. They just start pointing fingers. They are just really, just can't do it. These kids are high character kids, and they will not point fingers, and they'll just keep working harder to try and prove where they have to do it. So when we lose, we think we get better with this team.
Chris?
A couple of things. Muhammad was at the element of drive and finish last year. Is it
Yeah.
a confidence thing, or what? Can you put your finger on what is going on there?
You know, I mean, two of the last 3 games, right, he hasn't had major minutes. One was foul trouble, one was, you know, they played a lot of zone defense against us. That's crazy not to have Duncan on the floor there. DJ's hot. We're going to take Zach or Derek out. So sometimes it's that. But no, he's got to be able to, we need him badly to give us more defensively, offensively. Obviously, he's got to be on the floor to get that. He didn't get on the floor the other day, and it wasn't all him. It was the matter of fact of who are you going to take off the floor. The last couple of years, they went second half primarily zone. We were, and they just gave us enough in that game. I believe it was only 13 of the, maybe 30 or possessions, probably 40% of the positions were zone in the second half. So we just stayed with it. But he's got more in him, and we got to find a way to get it out of him.
And then, where are you defensively? You mentioned after the game that you weren't where you needed to be. Are you better than last year? Are you getting there?
That's tough for me to say right now. I think that, I mean, you can say what they want. They made some tough shots. I mean, a couple of times we were all over people when they made shots, and Jock does what he does. But the numbers don't tell us that we made a lot of strides that we wanted to make by this time. So what do? You say, okay, we can't be? No, you just keep working at it.
Brendan?
Sean got some run ahead of Ibby, I guess, or is anything ailing Ibby?
I think we needed to have the two. We had to have two guards go in. Sean knows every position, and to make that work, I believe that's where he was in. I think we took X out of the 3 positions. It was just he knows every position, knows it better. We flow better through him than we do Ibby right now in that situation. We had 2 bigs in the lineup. We needed another guy that really just knew what he was doing, but there was nothing other than that.
Okay, and I guess where is Ibby in that stance?
He and John Teskey, we're getting a mix right now of between scout team and out there. Austin Davis and Charles Matthews are like getting better every minute in front of us. There's a reason. They're getting reps like crazy in practice because they never come off the scout team. While John Teskey and Ibby get limited action with the first group. So both of those we've sort of moved them back to getting more reps in practice, even if it's with the second team or on the scout team. See the ball go in, go rebound in traffic, go do some things. So trying to, if we have 8 or 9, we want X in there all the time. And with Mark and Mo playing really well, it's not necessary. We get that third backup other than if we in emergency.
I think he had 14 offensive boards on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day it was. But how would you like to see more production off of those second chance opportunities, whether it's drawing fouls or going right back to the basket?
Yeah, that's the
running offense.
And it's perplexing as well because where we've never been a team that drew fouls really well, this team is really has not been able to draw fouls, and that's perplexing to us. But I thought we were really aggressive. On the bench, he had 14 offensive rebounds. You tell me we had 14 offensive rebounds. We're only going to turn the ball off over 6 or 7 times. What was it? 6 or 7, 8, and you're going to lose the game. That's hard to imagine that we're going to get those extra possessions and not give away possessions. So. I think the bigger issue is getting to the foul line, getting them in foul trouble, getting their better players off the floor, and getting to the foul line. We've just got to get there. And we're trying to get the guys to drive more. We're trying to open areas to drive more or throw it into the block more. But for some reason, we're not getting that.
Coach, with all the surprise wins and losses that have been occurring across the Big Ten landscape so far, what do you think the team takes from that and puts into their outlook or mindset for how conference play will go for them?
Well, we make sure, it's a good question. We make sure they know that. I mean, we look at that. So going into the Big Ten play, Nebraska had the worst non-conference record. They were 6-6. of all the teams, with all the guarantee games, all the home games, all the neutral games. Nebraska came out of that with although they played a good schedule, we're 6-6, and now they're 2-0 and in first place. So I think that's the thing is that this is a long season, and anybody can beat anybody, and that you better be ready for every game. And that there's a lot of teams that will start slow. Sometimes it's just scheduling. Sometimes it is just a matter of just not being ready or injury or something like that. There's a lot of things going on. Long season. The Big Ten season is tough, and it's 2 games a week from now on.
John?
Duncan has obviously made some shots for you lately. How overall has he adjusted to an altered role?
Can't get him that open. That was the issue the other day. He was way too open. Couldn't make him. It took his time. So it is I think he's really been playing well, and that's the position that we're in right now of trying to where is he best suited to play with DJ's emergence. We had nowhere to play him last year but over on the right side, and defensively where to play him. Zach took the other guys big because that's what we had. Now with DJ's emergence, where does he play? Should he be sharing more time with Muhammad or with Zach? Who are you going to take off the floor? So that's that conundrum we're in right now, and while you're trying to fix that, and that's a little bit where we had execution problems the other day, was that guys aren't as familiar playing, in different positions. And we just had one little change there, and it blew up a couple plays. It cost us.
Over here with Angela.
John, I'm just curious, what's your opinion of milestones? You're a win away from 200.
I only am aware of them when you guys say them. I mean, I swear, Tom gives me those game notes. I don't ever read anything on my page or anything. Tom does give me the game notes, but I do not read other than the other team's notes. And
so Tom's not doing a good enough job?
No, Tom does a great job. But he will tell me. I'll find out after the fact what happens. So it's just never been a thing with me in any way. And I don't like the sound. I never consider that. You're in this a long time. You're going to have some milestones, but it doesn't mean it's anything different the next day.
You've talked so much about guys talking more, being maybe a little bit
Yeah.
louder, getting more
Yeah.
whatever attitude. DJ is a guy who is especially quiet and stuff like that. For his level of production right now, how much does he need to take that step?
Yeah, you know what? And we've seen really big steps in that area for him. Watch him on the court right now, and you'll see a lot of pointing, and pointing at his teammates of where you're supposed to go. And I got my guy. He blew one coverage out of. In the Iowa game we had a different coverage than we usually have man, and he blew one coverage the entire time. He was on it. He was telling everybody and directing traffic. You may not see that, but he's doing much more. He's still probably he's not Zach Irvin or Zach Novak, but he is probably louder right now than probably Derek and Muhammad. And that's important, and Mo's way up on that meter as well. He does a great job. But that's good news is he's louder than. The bad news is our guards have to be more vocal. They absolutely have to be more vocal, and we got to keep working at that.
And we're seeing kind of embracing the role that's being asked of him, as opposed to 20 points being this big surprising thing where he's kind of expecting to do things like that.
Yeah, I think that he's going to give and take with this for a little bit, because I think that we can't expect that out of him every game. We wish we'd love that out of him, but he knows there's other ways that he can help the team. I just want him to do right now is focus on rebounding and defending, and all that other stuff will come through. I mean, he got those 28 points. We didn't draw up one play for him. He's playing off residual action, and sometimes it's just like perfect. We know where he is. We trust him to make the right plays. His assist turnover ratio is good for that position. He'll keep growing, but we don't. There wasn't anything that we did with him in particular other than we know he's in position to shoot the ball in. Where the last couple of years he would not be there. So it's his position now will grow as he continues to do that, and we'll find other ways. But I don't think the Furman game was a breakout game for him like that. I mean, he was not that type of factor except for a big offensive rebound in that game.
You draw any plays for him?
No, it was
How
just-
How unusual is that for a guy to have a scoring game like that?
Well, first of all, they played a lot, he scored against his own, he got offensive rebounds, if we don't draw up those plays. And the other thing is, he was just, they're shade, if I was playing Michigan and I didn't ever see them practice, and I looked at his numbers over 3 years, and I'd say, you know, he can shoot, but he's not a shooter. So we're gonna really help off other guys, and our guys did a great job of finding him. So there's 4 threes right there where there was no play, it was a matter of spacing, because that was the scout report going in, that he's made, you know, over his career, he's maybe made a 3 every 3 games. So it's not like a guy, we use different scouting reports, guy makes 3 a game, which is very rare, that's Nick Stauskas type of territory, 2 a game, 1 a game, or a half of 1 a game, we sort of, that's how you're gonna guard a guy. If you can shoot, but does he take them?
Have you had guys like that before, who can do that without anything?
Yeah, I think that happens, it's not, you're taking what the defense gives you, is really, just take what the defense gives you, and the defense chose to stay off of him, and the zone defense, it's residual, they're not guarding him like they do Duncan Robinson right now, and hopefully in the future they have to, that opens the door for everybody.